Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Magazine. I'm Eric Granstrom here on Lake Roosevelt today. We're fishing for sturgeon with Austin Moser of Austin's Northwest Adventures, and now talking with Dave Graybill, the fishing magician. We're doing a little double duty here. We're filming a show for Dave, and we're getting some TV work done here as well. First of all, thanks for inviting me along.
Absolutely. This is not our first adventure,
No,
Eric.
definitely not.
No, we've had a lot of fun over the years, and you've given me a lot of great video for our YouTube, Fishing Magician TV, and we've had a lot of fun doing it.
Talk about this particular fishery, Dave. Dave, of course, also wears multiple hats. He is a commissioner with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. This is quite a success story, really, to even be out here fishing for sturgeon on Lake Roosevelt.
Yes, to my knowledge, it's the first time in probably 20 years at least that there's been a catch and keep sturgeon fishery here on this area of Lake Roosevelt, and due to the Colville tribe, a hatchery program that they started and had better than anticipated survival on their hatchery stocks. And so this fishery was introduced to keep the number of hatchery fish within reason. And last year was their first season, and they took 3,000 sturgeon within the slot limit that was allowed. And this year they tightened up the slot limit, and they're going to put a cap of 1,000 fish harvest on this season, with the hope that this will be a sustainable fishery now. That as these hatchery fish move up into the slot limit, as they grow from juveniles into adults, that we'll be able to keep this fishery going for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Dave, let's talk about the Lake Roosevelt as a recreation area. For those in north central Washington and Wenatchee Valley, this is a few hour drive to the lower end, or like we did, 5 hours plus to get up here to the Kettle Falls region, which is right where we are just behind us here. This is an outdoor enthusiast mecca.
It's worth the extra time to get to a region like this in Washington State. The scenery is absolutely stunning. The wildlife is bountiful. It's just a whole different atmosphere when you get into these regions, the far corners of Washington State. And one of the things that's exciting about a fishery like this too is the boon that it provides for these small communities. At dinner last night, the restaurant owner came over to visit with us, and he was ecstatic about the number of people now at this time of year that are showing up at his restaurant because they're here to go sturgeon fishing. And so that's just another benefit of the management of this great recreational resource that we have up here. It's known for fantastic whitetail deer hunting. The turkey hunting it's just not fair. There's just so many. And so I've been fortunate enough to visit this area in the past, and when Austin invited me up to come back up here, I jumped at the chance. As I say, oftentimes it's not even the fishing, it's the opportunity to get up into these regions of the state and just see the incredible beauty and the bounty that's available to recreationalists. One of the things that I pointed out to you on the way up here, just because you're outside and you're in a new area, the hillsides are actually purple in the distance with the lupin that's blooming. Now that, I'm a pretty die-hard fisherman, and so when something like that gets my attention, it's pretty outstanding.
Yeah. Well, and somebody asked me when I was coming up here, they said, well, that's pretty arid. There's not a lot of trees. I said, oh, no, you have no idea. When you come up to Lake Roosevelt, the farther north you go, the more trees you're going to find.
Yeah, it's a lush area, a beautiful forested area. And I've often told people, the further you get from home, oftentimes the degrees of benefit are there because it's just more remote, there's less pressure, the quality of fishing. People that we've been visiting with today have named their experiences on several of the local lakes that is just tremendous trout fishing up here. And, we've got the walleye fishing on the reservoir that is absolutely incredible, the 16 fish limit. And then We've got the great kokanee fishing in the winter, great rainbow fishing year-round. So it's a wonderful area to visit.
And you don't have to have a boat to get out here. There's lots of shore fishing all up and down the reservoir. And also, I wanted to say real quick, thanks to Angie and the gang at the Grandview Motel. Wonderful accommodations in Kettle Falls last night, so thank you for that. But for people to come up here and explore it, one thing I did want to point out too, this is under different ownership, if you will, as far as the land is concerned. Like, for example, where we launched today, it's not the state, it's not a state park, it's a different government entity that is kind of running things up here, isn't it?
Well, a lot of the parks on the on Lake Roosevelt are federal parks. Right. Yes, and they're beautifully maintained. Spring Canyon is fantastic, open year-round for camping. They keep the launches operating throughout, even the extreme drop-off that we see in this winter. And you know, the rates are exceptional. I think it's $8 for a week or $6 for a week, and they really there's a lot of facilities up and down the reservoir. It's really one of the things it's famous for are the big rentals. What do we call those?
Pontoon boats,
giant 60-foot houseboats that you can rent by the day or week up here to cruise, because I think you recently had the experience of coming up here in your boat, motoring out, finding an attractive beach and pulling in and camping, and you can do that all up and down this reservoir.
Absolutely. Lake Roosevelt, the place where we are today, place where we invite you to visit, and we appreciate Austin Moser with Austin's Northwest Adventures, and of course Dave Graybill, the Fishing Magician. You can find him at fishingmagician.com, and check out all the videos. We've done a few up here in the Lake Roosevelt area, so you can find out more about that and some of the fishing and outdoor recreation opportunities. Dave, thanks again.
Thank you, Eric. Good to see you again.
You bet. That's the NCWLIFE Magazine. I'm Eric Granstrom. Thanks for watching.